welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Leading off the show today is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, welcome back to Movie Talk. Very happy to welcome back Jon Schnepp. We've missed you. You've been gone far too long.
I was stranded in London. Couldn't get out of there, but I'm back.
Yes, making his return is writer-director Jon Schnepp.
Hey, it was great to see all you guys in England, London, London MCM, London Comic-Con. It was great. There's so many anime freaks out there. It was great to see you, and AMC Movie Talk fans, and Death of Superman Lives What Happened fans. So it was so much fun to connect with you.
And freaks is the ultimate compliment from Jon Schnepp. So
Yeah.
just know that.
Or sweaty nerds.
Yeah.
And also here, AMC's Alicia Malone.
Yay, good to have Schnepp back. I liked seeing all your Instagrams,
Oh,
your
right on.
Facebook posts. It's great.
So fun. And before we get into the movie news, I do want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, that there is a big Marvel presentation starting right now. John and I were invited to this. Of course, I'm holding it down while he gives us reports, but we assume they're going to break something big because Marvel pretty much invited everyone to a presentation without revealing anything. Just be there, and they usually don't do that. They're like, come for Avengers footage, come for this. So, I don't know, there's a lot of speculation. Did they acquire rights to Spider-Man? I don't know. There's a lot of big rumors out there, but I have my phone here, and John is going to text me any breaking news, so we'll have it here in live time for you guys. On to the movie news.
Benedict Cumberbatch is reportedly in final negotiations to star as Doctor Strange in the Scott Derrickson-directed Marvel film. The short list of actors for the role once included Joaquin Phoenix, Ethan Hawke, Jared Leto, Ryan Gosling, Tom Hardy, Justin Theroux, and Keanu Reeves. But now it appears that Cumberbatch may become the Sorcerer Supreme. Amy Rose, if this locks, are you happy about this casting?
Well, first of all, that picture is awesome. Big fan of this. Benedict Cumberbatch is one of the best genre actors out there. I mean, beyond his, TV series, film, that voice of his is just pure butter. I mean, there's no doubt that he is going to crush this role if it happens. And it's beyond just speculation. He's in final negotiations. We heard his name in the mix, so I'm not like, whoa, where did he come from? But I also think on the other side of the spectrum, now that my praise for him has been sung, I do think it's a really safe choice for Marvel. I think that, they're used to not doing that. Chris Pratt, when he was first cast as Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord heading up that production, everyone was like, whoa, didn't see that coming at all. And we've seen that in the history, but their casting has been dead on in every project to date, almost every project to date. So I am definitely really excited about this, but I do think it's a safe choice. He is the it man. We bring him up in every conversation. Oh, who should be this role? Obviously Benedict Cumberbatch. So I do think it's a really safe choice. It's a bit more on the conventional side, but that doesn't detract from my enjoyment in thinking that he's going to absolutely crush this role. I would have personally liked to see what Jared Leto would have done, because I think that was a bit more of an obscure left field, and after Dallas Buyers Club and everything he's doing, but I know he is very knee-deep in his musical career right now. Respect. But I would have liked something where it's not the fan favorite. Benedict is that fan favorite, but again, he's going to crush it. So, Alicia, what are your first thoughts about this?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. I would have loved to see Joaquin Phoenix, obviously, in the role, but I wasn't surprised that he decided not to do it. Jared Leto would have been amazing. It seems like Benedict and Tom Hardy are the two that we talk about for every single role, but that's because they're both so fantastic. Benedict, always brilliant at playing these genius characters. We've been talking about on AMC Indie Spotlight about Imitation Game, where he plays Alan Turing, and he looks like he's a lock for an Oscar nomination from the buzz from that movie. Here, Doctor Strange, he's a neuroscientist, isn't he? So I feel like he's playing another genius, and he's good at that. He brings shades to his characters.
Psycho-genius, he's great at that.
I'm all for it. And he looks good with the goatee.
He sure does, Schnepp.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really happy I was so happy to see that news yesterday. I was like, he's got such a commanding presence. And that's what the character of Doctor Strange needs. He needs to have that kind of aura of, when he says the hoary hosts of Hoggoth, you got to believe it. I can't even say it right, but you have to believe.
You can.
I'm sure he's practicing. So I'm very excited that they cast him. Is he an obvious choice? Yes. Is he the best choice? I think yes. When those names first started circulating, what was it, Ewan McGregor? You had all these different people.
Keanu Reeves.
Ethan Hawke.
Keanu Reeves would have been fun.
He would have been fun. He did a good job as Constantine. So it's like, I mean, and also you got Tom Hardy and then Michael Fassbender, but he's already playing Magneto, so they got somebody else scooped him first for the ultimate, bad guy.
Yeah.
So I think Benedict is going to really, I really hope that this is not some, then he's going to drop out next week. I hope that they announce, next week he's signed for like 8 movies or whatever, because I think he's great. He's a really fun actor, and I can't think of anyone better. I liked Joaquin Phoenix, and when I heard he was almost going to be, I was like, yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
But I think this is the best choice, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any fanboy out there is like, why?
And he's so popular too, Benedict.
He's
he
loved.
has so many fans out there, so people will go and watch him.
And he's also a really incredibly gifted actor. I mean, he
Yeah.
played Frankenstein, which I highly
Absolutely.
recommend you guys seeing. Him and Johnny Lee Miller. They both played both the Doctor and the Monster and switched roles live on stage. So that's available. I'm sure you can rent it now. So.
Even in The Fifth Estate, which I thought was a pretty poor movie, he was amazing in.
He did a good Australian accent. As Assange.
Well, then he's in.
Yeah.
What's next, Ashley?
Following the first trailer for Avengers Age of Ultron last week, in a recent interview, Kevin Feige revealed what fans have been speculating about for quite some time. By the end of the sequel, the superhero lineup will be changed. Feige stated, "The Avengers films ideally in the grand plan are always big, giant linchpins. It's like as it was in publishing when each of the characters would go on their own adventures and then occasionally team up for a big 12-issue mega event. Then they would go back into their own comics and be changed from whatever that event was. I envision the same thing occurring after this movie because the Avengers roster is altered by the finale of this film." Schnepp, what do you make of Feige's comments?
I make that some big news is coming from Marvel. I don't know about this big news today, but what he's basically hinting at is saying, yeah, Avengers 2, the end, the roster is going to be different. We already know that Claw is probably in it from that trailer. Claw equals Wakanda, equals T'Challa, equals Black Panther. So I'm betting that they're going to introduce the Black Panther in this film. It's just been a secret. They were able to somehow throw all this information this way, and you never knew who's going to be playing T'Challa. So I think Black Panther will be in the Avengers. I also think somehow they're going to magically sneak in Miss Marvel. They might sneak in Nova. Who knows? I mean, Black Panther and Doctor Strange could easily be part of that crew. I think War Machine is way up. He's going to be in the Avengers. I mean, maybe it's going to be basically War Machine versus Iron Man in Captain America 3. Who knows what they're going to figure out. But the biggest news of him saying this to me is not just Avengers 3, which whatever that's going to be, we don't know. But it's basically kind of saying, look, we are doing Civil War. We're also going to be doing Secret Wars. Because Secret Wars is the way to introduce Spider-Man into the Marvel Universe. That's how he gets the black costume. That's such an ingenious way to weave the rights back into Marvel's universe. I'd say even, I was talking with a sweaty in London, and he was like, what about Kang the Conqueror? And I was like, Kang the Conqueror could actually be the thing that brings about the Secret Wars. He can transport all of these people from different time periods or from different zones. Guardians of the Galaxy can be in Secret Wars. The Avengers can be in Secret Wars. So on a weird battle planet, It's just great that they're really taking their time to make the cinematic universe a great woven together adventure where you can actually watch 20 movies. Wait till they have a week-long Marvel marathon.
Yeah.
Where can you survive our 55 movies? Is and the TV shows, because they're all interconnected. It's like,
where does it end?
Yeah, it's a great universe, and it's really fun, especially being a fan of all these characters, to see how the Marvel Cinematic Universe is weaving them together in a really great way, paying homage to the creations of the characters, the way they're written, fan favorite storylines. It's just really a cool time to be a fan of superhero films, or just fantasy and science fiction, or movies in general with this kind of stuff going on.
It is. It's a great time. I do think that, first of all, Kevin Feige, he knows just enough to reveal, enough to get us excited, but not to really reveal anything big.
Right.
Everything we've heard, Marvel Civil War is brewing up. We saw, the trailer was just so epic and so fantastic and really dark, and something's about to brew, and I feel like this again is being released at such a perfect time with this Marvel presentation today,
Right.
because it would be the perfect day to say, hey, Black Panther movie's coming, Ms. Marvel's movie is coming, boom, just announce these big properties that we've been waiting for anyway, especially after DC stepped it up in, diversifying it up and actually having black actor and this, and about damn time. So I do think think that, Marvel is all about showmanship. And that's something that, DC, as much as we're so excited about their properties, they just kind of said, oh, by the way, during a press conference, this is what's happening. We're like, what?
Yeah.
And Marvel goes, hey, come in, we're going to make this a big dog and pony show. And everyone's like, what are you going to show? And it's not like one is better than the other. Don't get all fanboy out on me. I'm just saying there's a very different tactic in revealing information. And Feige is just the king of that because, again, just enough. So I do think, and seeing Andy Serkis, I mean, his claw, that was fantastic. And you're right, everyone's like, what's the connection? Like the villain. I mean, it's just
Vibranium, Wakanda, bam. It's awesome.
It's so exciting, and I'm so excited for what happens. And again, they know exactly, but who's gonna die? Like, that's the question.
Everybody dies. Yeah.
So Alicia, what do you make of Feige's comments?
I just think it's really interesting. I like the idea that they're shaking things up, that it might be a different Avengers team, maybe some new characters, maybe someone will die. I have no idea what these comments mean. As you guys know, I didn't grow up reading comic books, so I'm starting to learn about them, but I like the Marvel movies because they cast really good actors, they get really good directors on board, and I think they're so smart at planning long term how the cinematic universe all works together. So I'm hoping today for a Miss Marvel and a Black Panther announcement, but I'm still learning about the characters in general.
Can I just say, I didn't get to chime in because I wasn't here about the Avengers trailer, but I'll just say this.
It's great.
James Spader's voice. So when you think about voiceover casting, it's so important. And I remember when they first announced James Spader as Ultron, I was like, oh, that's weird. But then you hear it and you're like, it's so perfect.
It gave me shivers.
Yeah, and then you realize, they originally got Jarvis, that actor.
Paul Bettany.
Yeah, Paul Bettany is an amazing actor, and now he's playing the Vision. So it really is the voiceover is such an important part to all these characters. I mean,
it really is, because you see a lot of the time in animated films, so they'll just get these big names with maybe not these really identifiable voices, but then you have James Spader, who is like, wow, Benedict Cumberbatch, same thing. We're just like, just blood or
commanding.
Silk, just and it's like it is its own character, and I just feel like Ultron is going to be an actual menacing force that we've been waiting for. I mean, he looks straight evil, son.
Right.
I'm so excited.
I mean, that's why. I mean, they got Josh Brolin. You're like, but he's a giant CG character. I know, but it's his voice, which is going to be the commanding presence.
So excited. Yeah, so excited. No text yet, but I'll keep you posted. All right, guys, we have now reached the buy or sell portion of the show. Ashley has a couple other items picked out going on in the world of movie news, and we're simply going to say if we buy or sell it. What's first?
Director Zack Snyder, Ben Affleck, and Amy Adams from the upcoming Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice are included in a new promotional video to support the Save the Bats campaign. The video urges viewers to help the bats, which are in danger of going extinct. Alicia, buy or sell this promotional video tied to the upcoming film?
Completely buy. I think this is so great. They're using the popularity and the interest, the rabid interest for Batman vs. Superman to do some good, to raise awareness about the plight of bats. They are an endangered species. They are really important to the ecosystem. And I love watching this video and seeing Zack Snyder painting bat houses, seeing Amy Adams with the bats, and then seeing Ben Affleck present the video. I think it's really smart. I like it.
Yeah, I love when people use their celeb status for good. Even though bats freak me out, I'm going to be straight up honest, like Amy Adams. She's like, I used to think they were creepy, but I actually realized that they're kind of cute and endearing. I was like, great, I would like that awakening as well. But I also do understand what they do for our ecosystem and for everything, and it's really important. And I just love this, kind of like what J.J. Abrams did for Star Wars. I mean, use your status for good, for a message, and to tie it into Batman v Superman, it's like a no-brainer, brilliant idea. So I'm definitely on board.
Yeah, when I first heard of this, I heard about it yesterday, but I didn't watch it till this morning. I was like, what a weird, sneaky tie-in, Batman versus, Save the Bats. Then I watched it, I got a tear in my eye. I didn't realize bats are endangered. I had no idea. So what a great way to make people aware of it, number one, because I was not aware of it. Number two, to see everyone coming together and making these little bat houses. I mean, it's so amazing and fantastic. Look, I knew about sonar. I know Zach was like, I learned that they communicate, they see through sonar. It's like, yeah, but he's also, making these homes, and I didn't know bats were in danger. So it's like, it's great to become aware of it, and I'm so happy that they're using a film like Batman vs. Superman to actually make people aware of it, like us, so then we can be hyper aware of it. And if it's like, hey, put $1 in, I'll put in $1, It's like, if that helps build more little bat houses,
Yeah,
those
so
little
cute.
bat houses. And I mean, video, film is just such a powerful medium, and that's why documentaries are so effective, because sometimes people don't want to just read about it. They want you to show them, and that's why I feel like this is such a beneficial and efficient way of building awareness. Exactly.
Fantastic way.
Big fan. All right, guys, what's next?
A new international trailer has been released for Paddington, adapted from Michael Bond's beloved books. Ben Whishaw voices the bear, and Sally Hawkins, Nicole Kidman, and Hugh Bonneville co-star. Amy Rose, buy or sell the new Paddington trailer?
Sell. I'm terrified of CGI animals like Paddington. Garfield, Smurfs, these things terrify me, man. They're up with like clowns for me. I just think I get it for kids friendly, but I grew up on Paddington bear books. I went to London a ton as a child, and that just, I mean, he's just such a, I still think I have the animal somewhere. I mean, he's just like such a beloved thing, and I'm sure it will be a really nice family friendly film, but to me, I just don't like these CGI creatures. They terrify me. Alicia?
Did you see those photos not that long ago where they made him look quite creepy?
They don't need to try that hard.
They put him in different situations and he looked really creepy. But I'm actually buying the trailer because I thought it was a lot better than I expected. When I heard that Colin Firth had dropped out as the voice, I thought, oh, what does that say about the film? But I have a feeling that he did that because he doesn't feel like he was the right choice for the voice. And I agree with that because Colin Firth, talk about voices, such a beautiful posh accent, but it's quite distinguished, whereas Ben Whishaw, beautiful accent again, but it sounds younger and sweeter, and I think that worked really well from what I saw for the trailer. And I like the CGI. I thought it was quite amazing to watch. It's probably the best CGI on an animal character I've seen
I agree with that.
in this kind of context.
Yeah.
I'll say this, when the very first Paddington trailer that they released, like, I guess like 5 months ago, I absolutely hated. I was like, it's grotesque, it's like made for, you know, like people with no attention span, just like, look at all these weird gags and he's falling off staircases, and it looked like animal abuse, but a CG animal abuse, which, you know, the kind of animal abuse I'm not into. So I was like, I hate this, you know, and then I saw this trailer and I loved it. So I buy this trailer because they really showed you the story and they showed you the family that's taking care of
it. Good, it really is.
I didn't read Paddington when I was a kid, so I don't really have any connection with this. So, but man, I like this bear, I like the voice. So I believe, you know, when Colin said I'm dropping out because I don't feel like I fit the character, good on him. This character, good choice, because this really feels like, oh, I like this bear immediately. I'm not afraid of bears, like CG bears, you know.
CGI Garfield didn't scare you?
No.
It scared me for a different
What
reason.
about a CG bear dressed as a clown?
Stop it.
Send it to Amy Rose. Send it to Amy Rose. Bears as clowns, please send it to AMC Movie Talk.
Next topic, please, quickly.
Coming off the much talked about Tusk, Kevin Smith took to Twitter to reveal his new look for his next film, Yoga Hosers. His signature beard has been shaved off, and the words, "Look at this goofy spaz, this is me, beardless," for the @Yoga Hosers green screen shoot. Hashtag face Brazilian. Should buy or sell Smith sporting this look for his new film?
And I got to be honest, when I first saw that, I was like, what's Mark Ellis doing in this photo?
It's true.
Yeah, it's like Mark Ellis.
Oh my God.
You know what? I buy it. I think you know, he had to shave his face because in Yoga Hosers, he's playing all of the different monsters in the movie. So he's having all these latex appliances put on his face. So, you know, unless he wanted to like Vaseline his whole face up, and it's like, look, just shave your face. It's a lot easier. We're gonna have to be doing this for weeks. You're gonna be photographed. You do these tours. So that's why he did it. And you know, he manned up and he's like, look, here I am. Look, if I shaved my face, not only would Holly drop me, but also you'd be like, who's the small child on AMC Movie? Like a weird baby face. Like, anyway, you guys, I want to say a couple words about it. It just changes your face. I have a very round face, so a beard helps. And as you can see with Kevin, he lost a lot of weight. He's not eating any sugar anymore.
Wow.
He got rid of that.
He looks
and
good.
you know, proud of him for doing that. It's like, hey, look, he's lost a lot of weight. He just shaved his face. He looks great, I think. It's just shocking because you're so used to this, like, but you're Silent Bob. I have the action figure, and you're this and this. And, you know, you're sort of like, that doesn't look like him, but that is him. It's just a different iteration. I'm sure as soon as he's done with Yoga Hosers, he's like, I don't have to put the latex anymore. Beardo starting. Yeah. Like
he's
instantly.
He's going to grow it to the floor just for fun.
Yeah. He's going to, because super like braiding it, like tying it up, and he's super creative.
First things first, I'm going to start a petition. We want Babyface Schneck.
Maybe this summer. Maybe.
Okay.
Come on.
Cool.
At the end of November, for November.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
That's
Donate your money.
Deal?
Talk to
Okay,
Holly.
cool.
Clear with Holly.
He does look a lot younger. He has lost a lot of weight, and I think it's great. That's his signature beard. I mean, that's his steez. That's what he's known for. He's still obviously in his jersey, so we haven't lost sight of him too much. But I love this man. I think this film sounds bizarre and fabulous. And after Tusk, which is one of the most talked about films of the year, whether you loved it, hated it, or it really disturbed you, it really, really stayed with you. And I feel like this film, again, is just going to be bizarre. I love that there are children in it. Johnny Depp's in it again.
Yep.
He's in it. Like, it's going to be fun. I trust him, and I'm glad he hasn't given up filmmaking because I want more. I want more of what he delivered.
Yeah, fantastic.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's going to bring more effed up cinema. So,
Yes.
Absurdism really is a good genre.
I like it, even though Tusk terrified me and disturbed me. I like that, as we talk about a lot, it stayed with me. I can't wait to see what he does next, and he looks so different. I think I would walk past him on the street if I saw him like that and not realize it was Kevin Smith, but he looks great. It looks like he took years off his face. It looks like he's taking care of himself.
Yes.
I'm all for that. So it's a buy, plus we're talking about the movie, and this photo went everywhere, so that's brilliant.
And face Brazilian hashtag. He's
So
cute.
funny. Love that.
Yeah, right?
Man. There it goes. Before we jump into mailbag, obviously Halloween is Friday, and for those scary movie lovers out there, we recently had the Ouija cast and director Styles White in here to talk about the film. So we're gonna play a clip of that for you right now.
Well, you know, there's something about the classic look of the board and the antique alphabet on it, and it does look like a relic, and it's sort of fashionable as well. So so those were all encouraging signs that made us realize this is something that people are still talking about, and especially the audience that we made this for, you know, a young audience who's may have just experimented with the Ouija board for the first time, that this would be definitely the kind of movie that they would want to see.
And that like mysterious component of how we don't really know. We don't really know what's out there beyond this. And I think that is just, people love that adrenaline in the theater because there are no answers.
Right.
It's all, you know, you can determine it as you will. So that's fascinating to me.
We're just ultimately curious, and we just want to.
And this is just one interpretation of it, right? It's just like one version of like maybe this could happen, maybe not. Like who? But I've heard so many different types of Ouija stories, and this is just like one creepy, very terrifying version of what could happen. Hopefully, it's not all like that.
And I think there is a belief that the Ouija board
could be used for good.
Yeah, and it can be a doorway
You know, as
that
a
leads
conduit,
to different hallways. So, you know, this was the hallway that we opened with this particular board in this story.
Ouija is now playing. I grew up playing a Ouija board. We did not try to use it for good. I don't know who actually tried to use it for good. But you might get a kick out of that if you played for it as well. Also Friday, Nightcrawler, if you want to get a different kind of genre horror fix. All right, guys, before we jump into mailbag, you might have a chance to squeak in a couple Twitter questions at AMC Movie News. Ashley's going to pick a couple out at the end of the show. But for now, let's go into mailbag. What's the first user submitted question?
Henry K. wrote, "Hey AMC crew, I recently rewatched Collateral with Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise's performance as the hitman, Vincent, is still, in my opinion, my favorite performance by him. I really wish actors who are normally cast as the good guys would play more villainous roles. Another great example is Denzel Washington in Training Day. Who are some examples of actors who have yet to cross over to the dark side who you'd love to see take on a villain role?"
The dark side is so much more fun. So, I mean, there's a lot. Before Steve Carell did Foxcatcher and The Way Back, he was definitely at the top of my list because he's just so lovable and likable. I'd really like to see Sandra Bullock take a villainous role. I mean, she has proven that she's more just than a comedic actress. Obviously, she's been doing some really Blindside and Gravity. I mean, she's a really good actress, and I think that to really lose herself in that, I'd get a real kick out of it. I'd really like to see Jennifer Lawrence play a villainous role as well. I just feel like being a villain would be so much more fun than being the lovable good guy. I would also like to see Zach Galifianakis play an evil guy. I mean, he was great in Birdman. He showed a real different dimension to his repertoire, so I think that would be really cool. And then Will Smith, I know he's played a couple, but he's in more recent years been the good guy, the lovable guy, and I'd like to see him play a really bad, evil villain guy. What are some names that come to mind?
Definitely Tom Hanks. I would love to see play a bad guy.
Road to Perdition?
He's spoken about not wanting to play like a villain, and he doesn't find it that interesting. But I think because it's not expected, that could be really fun. Like Anthony Perkins in Psycho, he was the good guy no one expected, and then he's this cross-dressing psycho. So I think it would be great to see Tom Hanks play bad guy. Sure, and Sandra Bullock.
Tom Hanks do anything, really.
Yeah.
How about Marky Mark?
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I think he would be, I mean, he's a great actor. And I think given the right role, he could play a really good villain. Not a mustache twirling villain, but like a horrifying, psychologically intense, creepy, strange freak.
I think he's got an edge to him.
Yeah, he
Could
definitely
do that.
has an edge. And you see it in even like a movie like Transformers, like, you know, he acts and he gets angry or pushed. You're like, I'd like to see that guy pushed a little bit farther. And then maybe a little bit close to the edge, and then he breaks. So I think he's got it in him, so it'd be fun to see someone like that, unexpected casting.
Yeah, I'd like to see Matthew McConaughey play a really, really bad guy too. He's played some sleazy guys and some other kind of, you know, but a real villainous, and I feel like everyone now really believes in what he can do.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would really be a good, because he's been playing a hero.
But he played a really bad guy, William Friedkin's horror.
Oh,
It was like, you know, he
yeah.
was a murderer.
Yeah,
You know, so he's pretty bad.
But in recent years, he's had his shirt off a lot,
Right,
and then
right.
now he's playing the hero.
Right.
So I feel like it'd be cool. But yeah, I want people to go bad more. It's more fun to me.
Yeah.
What's next?
Kyle Kaizu wrote, "Hey everyone, I know that by the simple nature of this question, you're going to label me as a Nolan fanboy, and that's fair, but I think it's a genuine question that deserves some consideration. Do you think because it has so many big ideas, has similar ambitions in terms of scope, and tries to harken back to past sci-fi blockbusters, Interstellar is having a similar initial reaction from critics like 2001 and other sci-fis that were later hailed as great did? The trailers were fantastic, but I've read that after the 1 hour mark, when they go into space, a ton of nutty stuff happens, and people might not have been prepared for that. Again, just from what I've read, I don't think we've had a film like this in a long time, and that maybe threw some critics off. Anyway, thanks."
All right, guys, we have a good little tidbit for you if you haven't heard yet before we get into the Interstellar question. Captain Marvel has been announced, release date July 6, 2018. Quick thoughts on that?
Yeah. I'm excited.
That's fantastic news.
Yes,
Really
awesome.
good. That's what we wanted.
That's what we wanted. So
So
give us
good.
our Black Panther next, and we'll be on a good roll.
I'm gonna keep looking into it.
Yes, so back to Interstellar. So 2 of 3 of us have seen it at the table, which is great because I want both perspectives. So I personally was blown away by this film. I feel like Nolan in general is the type of filmmaker that takes really ambitious, large ideas, and so instead of enjoying the cinematic experience, people like to find the flaws of it. I personally give myself to cinema, and he is just such a breathtaking filmmaker, both visually, and he's not afraid to touch those risky, controversial topics as well. And I personally just think, sure, there were flaws in the film, but that doesn't take me out of the experience because it was gorgeous. The performances were spectacular, and it raised a lot of really deep questions that really make you think about where human race is going and what's after this if we continue to destroy our planet. So I think that it's really fascinating, and it's just, I was sitting there after the film completely like in awe and silence. I felt like my brain exploded from
me
sensory
too.
overload. And to me, that's masterful. And you know, his films are always very, very divided. Always. That's just kind of what goes with it. Less the Dark Knight trilogy, but more like Inception, and when he's dealing with other concepts like that, big ideas. So personally, I think you guys are in for a treat. But that's the kind of filmmaker he is, and he's not afraid to be misunderstood or misinterpreted because he stands true to his art. So personally, I thought this was the most spectacular experience I've seen in a long time. I was literally silenced. I looked at Alicia, I'm like,
What?
but I know a lot of people that were just like, they pretended to be deep, but it wasn't. But I get Nolan, and I give myself to cinema. I don't need to pull apart flaws because it takes me out of the film. I'm in it. So Alicia, you saw it as well. What are your thoughts on just Nolan?
Yeah, well, he always does these great high concepts and then grounds them in reality. I know some people were saying maybe the emotional stuff didn't work or it felt a bit manipulative, but for me, the spectacle was insane. Seeing it in IMAX 70mm was an experience that I'll never forget. And you can see all the references to 2001: A Space Odyssey. There's some spinning things, some things that look like monoliths, and also a lot of references to The Right Stuff, another film that he was inspired by. It's got that optimistic quality about it. I love this movie. I still say Birdman's my favorite, but I think it'll definitely go down in history as just a technological achievement, because just what you see on screen, I don't want to spoil anything, is just amazing, and yeah, mind blowing.
Truly. So what are your thoughts, Shep, having not seen the film, but knowing just Nolan's film as a whole and what you've seen and heard for Interstellar?
When I first heard about Interstellar, and you know, it was very secret, you know, cornfields and stuff. Didn't really know too much about it other than it was going to be about outer space and perhaps it's time for mankind to look for a new home. So once I heard that that was just the genesis of the idea, I was all in, because I know Nolan can bring that kind of big movie spectacle, and he's a great filmmaker, and he actually cares about what he's making. He doesn't get sold out. He'll deliver on the idea. Like it or not, you know, I like most of his films. Like I'd say 90% of his films. 1 or 2 of them I don't like, but you know, as a filmmaker, he's hit it out of the park. So for me to see him tackling big ideas like science fiction, like real hard sci-fi, and you know, I know he's going to take it with reality. There's not going to be googly aliens, and if there are, there'd be a reason for it. So
Exactly.
I'm so excited to see this film. You know, that being said, do I compare him to someone like Kubrick? Yes and no. I don't really compare filmmakers. So I mean, every filmmaker has their own individual stamp, and when they become an auteur, whether or not they're just a directing auteur, where they can take a script and mold it into their vision, or they're a writing and a directing, you know, they do both. That's, you know, to me it depends. Like if you know, you can write and direct something and do everything that the studio wants, that doesn't make you an auteur. What makes you an auteur is you come to it with a specific vision in mind and execute it. So Nolan to me is an auteur, just like Kubrick. So that's how I compare them. They're completely different though as filmmakers. Night and day, just not even this in the same ballpark. No. Just like Scorsese, different filmmaker. Just like David Lynch, different filmmaker. I love all of them. So it's like, you know, that's what's so great about cinema in general. There's all these different flavors, and to have someone like Nolan deliver one every 2 years, it's like, yes. So I'm all in. I can't wait. I don't necessarily compare filmmakers like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But all the filmmakers you mentioned, I also love, but a lot of people don't. Because again, they're trying to find, you know, flaws in the theories because they're presenting these big ideas. And I feel like a lot of these people are not as appreciated in their time because their films are so advanced. And I feel like that's what Nolan is
and I feel like Interstellar is so optimistic that the cynical people, or people that, you know, have that cynicism, and you don't want to believe that. You want to pick it apart.
Well, I like that you mentioned The Right Stuff. If you haven't seen The Right Stuff,
that's great.
Go to it now. After you see this episode, click on some link, download it, watch it, rent it, buy it, see it. It's an incredible story of reality, our human experience, going to the moon, going into outer space, and just the journey that everyone who becomes an astronaut or who has vision or dreams goes through. So it's really great. It's an amazing film.
And Interstellar is also a story about just, you know, love and hope beyond the science fiction aspect of it. So it's got so many layers and elements to it that I feel like it speaks to a lot of people. So if you're a Nolan fan, don't worry about those reviews out there. You're in for a ride. Speaking of amazing news, if you guys have been focused solely on us, we do have some more fun announcements. Black Panther has been announced for November 3rd, 2017.
17, so it's before Cyborg.
And Inhumans announced for November 2nd, 2018.
Yes!
And Avengers 3 will be in 2 parts. So basically everything we've predicted is real and is happening. Black Panther, baby! I'm so excited now.
That makes total sense.
All the excitement about who's going to be Black Panther is back up.
And they announced the Inhumans for when?
They did for November 2nd, 2018.
That is really actually one of my favorite announcements, because I knew, all of us kind of knew, when's Black Panther dropping, especially after you saw
and
Claw.
Captain Marvel.
So Captain Marvel's in July of that year, and then Inhumans is in November.
Inhumans! Black Bolt!
Black Panther 2017.
So fantastic. Karnak!
We don't even have time for Twitter questions because it's been a really big day. So thank you, Marvel, for making this another fun film. DC, thank you for your amazing slate. It's a great time to be a film fan, comic book fan, as you said. And thanks for joining us on Movie Talk today. I'm sure John will geek out for you all tomorrow since he was there. I'd like to thank my wonderful table. Sitting to my right, Alicia Malone. Where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Alicia Malone. Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, yeah! I'd like to thank John Schnapp, back from London. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter and Instagram, John Schnapp, and TDOSLWH. And cosplay this Friday, Halloween, Luigi. It's a Ouija board, but it's also Luigi.
Love that.
You are so relevant. It's crazy. The lovely Ashley Moba, our gatekeeper for today. Where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
Yes. A day's not complete without that shoulder shimmy. I'm Amy Rose with at AMC Movie News, but too many A's. You can find me at Amy Rosie on the various social channels, and we have AMCI Indie Spotlight shooting later today, and you'll have to tune in tomorrow to see what Alicia and I are dressing as.
I saw a preview. Look out! Woo! Oh my God! Inhuman!
Anyway, have a great rest of your day. We're all a little excited about the news we just heard. Let us know in the comments what you're the most excited for. And don't forget to like us and share us and do all that good stuff you do. We really appreciate your support. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.